right, everyone, welcome back. As always, I'm Chad, and we're here to talk about a campaign currently funding on Kickstarter. We have Jonathan Hedrick; he's back, and we're in the same time zone this time.
Yes. Makes things a little easier.
Yeah, no, I mean I was fine with you being in European time. I'm sure you're having issues being over here anyway. So.
Right.
So I think I can't remember, was the last time we chatted was it for one of the not hostel, but
Hospice?
hospice? Yes, I knew it was a H something.
Yeah, one of those H words.
And I know you've had a couple other campaigns since then, which we weren't able to
Yeah.
You were writing a comic for one of the Stranger Things people.
Yeah, for an actor who was on Stranger Things. Yeah, Austin Janowski. I have done a couple of zombie stories in his zombie anthology series called Zombies Were Human Too. And he did a campaign where it was my previous zombie story combined with a new zombie story as one single floppy comic book. And then that new zombie story will also be in a future campaign for a thicker volume, I believe 4 or 5 of the lengthier anthology of that, which is like this ongoing zombie story, which is pretty cool how he brings other writers in to include into this zombie universe that he's created.
And I think you've also been involved in some other anthology type campaigns too.
Mm-hmm.
So, but we're here to talk about one of your books. It's Brackish, which I'm going to go off on a ledge and say it's the real life story of the reflecting pool in DC.
Oh man, that would be timely, wouldn't it? But no, it's the elevator pitch that I give for Brackish is think Romeo and Juliet set in modern day Florida swamp. And if that hooks you, a lengthier synopsis of the story, if that elevator ride turns a little longer, is these two families on either side of Florida swamp have been feuding for generations. And about a century ago, they called a truce and said, we won't fight each other anymore. You stick on the saltwater side. I'll stick on my family will stay on the freshwater side. And the brackish water in the middle is just off limits. Fast forward to the present day, and the youngest son of the freshwater family, the Tappers, runs across the youngest daughter of the saltwater family, which is called the Saltzmans. And what that does is mash those two families again, and the truce gets broken, and things in the swamp aren't going to be the same since. So the campaign is for the first 2 issues. Issue 2 is the new issue. Issue 1 was kickstarted underneath a previous publisher it was attached to that it's no longer attached to. So we've remastered issue 1, relettered it, offering it again with more bonus material. So it'll be issue 1 is a 32-page comic book, 24 pages of story, and you can just pick up that one if you want as well. So you can either catch up, you can get 2 if you already backed issue 1, or just test the waters, pun intended, with issue 1.
So aside from the obvious Romeo and Juliet inspiration, where did what kind of influence you in your creative process for this story?
Well, I'm born and raised Floridian myself. I'm here in Florida right now for the summer, and Florida gets a bad rap. Some of it is very deserving, uh, but it's a big state. Um, uh, you know, yes, a lot of those Florida man headlines are true and crazy, but we're a lot more than that, a lot more than just the beaches, the theme parks, and so forth. There's a lot of history in Florida, and I wanted to tell that side of it, show that side of it without being necessarily historically accurate, but just maybe bring a side of Florida into a comic book that's grounded in reality and make the setting as much of a character as you would see, like you would consider Gotham is a
Mhm.
character in itself in the Batman lore, or Metropolis, or any of the other. The setting is very important in this story. It's not just background fodder. It's woven into this tale.
So, what is it about the Romeo and Juliet story, storyline or theme that made you want to take a spin on the concept? I guess.
Yeah, I mean that wasn't really um, the the target goal. That
Mhm.
was uh,
It's
I'm
just
a
like a picture.
right. It's just the way I pitch it, and it's hard not to find Shakespearean themes in almost anything. You break down most stories into 37 plots, and Shakespeare did most of those. Um, it's just it's familiar. It's not something I'm trying to emulate or rebrand or anything like that. But I do like the star-crossed lovers, that theme, and it felt like it could work in this setting, in this story, and something that could offers a lot more to chew on, to expand more. And those two characters are the two main characters. Aren't just those two main characters. We will expand more into the family than you would think if watch Romeo and Juliet, or read it. So it'll be a lot more than that. That's just the high level overview. But I've always been a fan of Shakespeare. I was a drama geek when I was a kid, so we read those. We did those monologues. It was a lot of fun. The Leonardo DiCaprio movie came out when I was in high school, so that was very pivotal into my youth, and yeah, it's good stuff, and it's a if that is a way that can bring people into it, so be it.
Now, is developing writing this story different from say any the horror stuff that you tend to work on?
Yes. I brought up, I said grounded in reality because I've only written a few um, stories that are like that don't have some, fantastical element to it. And the main one that comes to mind is one of my more popular series called The Recount, which, could very well happen. An eerily relevant story, and
Oh, that's not about the 20 or the 2000 election down in
right,
Florida.
right.
That's two political jokes I've made so far. I'm on a roll.
You're on a roll. So yeah, it's we don't see very many grounded in reality stories in comic books. Obviously there's the superhero genre, horror is a big one, sci-fi, and I love those genres. I've written those genres. I read those. There's nothing wrong with them, but this story didn't need some type of far-fetched element to it in my opinion, to have it continue and seem like something that you could read from issue to issue.
So having it based in reality, as you said, are any of the characters kind of developed off people you know or grew up with, or just more so stereotypes of people from Florida?
I'd say they're all amalgamations of just different people I've been exposed to, people I've seen, and sprinkled in with just some of my own creation as well. Yeah, but not no, not particularly based off of any particular person. No.
So as you were working on this, were there any, given you've written other things before, were there any perhaps things that you had were challenging or had to kind of work out more as you went along?
Yeah, that's a good question. When you write something that's a little far fetched, superhero, horror, sci-fi, you can almost always find within every 4 pages a reason for someone to throw a punch, or slam a fist down on a desk, or kick through a wall. But when you're writing a story where people don't have powers or some type of magical elements, you got to still make it interesting, and you got to change those scenes. And so that requires some better storytelling. It requires more dialogue driven page turns, instead of just what's going to happen. It can't always be action packed.
You just can't. You just can't automatically pull the what is it? Deus ex machina.
Right, right, yeah. And the MacGuffins and stuff like that isn't so easy in a story like this, and I enjoy that challenge. I want to bring something different to the readers that's not so carbon copied.
And so, who are you working with on this project?
Three great creators are part of the central team, Brackish. The penciler and inker is Riccardo Ficini, who is a Italian artist. He's been working on this series for a while now. We started this back in 2023. He's already completely inked issue 3, and is patiently awaiting the script for issue 4. And then the colorist is Iksan Ansari, who has worked with me before on my all ages book called Atticus and the Magical Pillow Fort. And then I brought in Leo McGovern as a letterer. He re-lettered issue 1 and then lettered issue 2. And I've worked with him a lot lately. He's my go-to letterer now. He's lettered Can I Scream, Spill Blood, Atticus and the Magical Pillow Fort. That's just off the top of my head, but he did the hospice story, Hospice Tunnel of Love. I try to bring him on board with everything I do now. So, and we have 2 fantastic cover artists for our variant covers. The first is Fellhound. She's a super talented indie creator. She has a book out through Boom called Sir. I can't recommend it enough. If you want to read motorcycle jousting, that's that's a great
Sold.
Yep. And then the other cover artist is named Oshred. She's done several variant covers for me in the past. She's fantastic. She's a student of Art Germ, but she has her own signature style, and I'm so happy to bring both of those talented cover artists into this project. So, yeah, well-rounded team.
Besides the variant covers, what else are you offering for the different reward levels to encourage people to support?
Yeah, well, you can get the issue one either by itself or digitally, and then we also have issue two by itself or one and two. I'm also offering a digital bundle of my previous works with about 25 plus issues of comics I've written for $125, which is over 500 pages of comics, which includes Brackish as well. And that's eligible for pledge over time too, so you can break those up into three payments, two retailer bundles, and I'm also, as the big ticket item, is commissioning me to write an 8-page comic script for you. So we have 5 of those available. That 8-pager can be anything from the first 8 pages of your 24-issue story. Maybe you want something that you want to pitch to someone, or maybe it's just an 8-page story. Maybe it's maybe you already are a creator and you just want to hire out someone to have a side story or a backup, or it could even be for an anthology. So multiple options for that one, and I would work alongside anyone who, of course, pledge for that tier. And that's another one that's a pledge over time. So that would be broken up, and you get everything with that one. You would get all the covers for this campaign and so forth.
Now, is the pledge over time, is that something new that they have?
Fairly new. I've had it on for the past 2 or 3 campaigns, I believe, and it's worked out great. I think so for those higher ticket pledge tiers, I think a lot of backers can appreciate that. So to be broken up over, with 2 weeks in between each pledge payment. So if you wanted that higher tier that was maybe original artwork or drawn into the comic book, that's hard. That's a big chunk of change, but broken up, you're more likely to get a backer out of that.
Yeah, especially in today's economy.
Of course. Yeah.
Well, kind of going off that, having the experience that you do with Kickstarter platform, is there anything that you're noticing, with this campaign that's different than your previous ones? Or are you facing any different challenges?
I've never. Every Kickstarter is never the same. They're all unique. They're all snowflakes. They're hard to predict. We had a great launch day, followed by some great days after that. It's been pretty steady since then. I could guess why that's happened, but we still have 22 days left in the campaign. We're just a little bit under $600 away from reaching our minimum funding goal. So, this is the end of the first week. We launched Tuesday of last week, so we're in a good spot. And sometimes it's just a roller coaster. You get a lot of pledges, and then they disappear, and then a lot of pledges. And a lot of people launch on Tuesdays, and then a couple of days following, because those pledges will come in. So it's more traffic on Tuesday, and then it starts to tear off throughout those days following, because everyone's on the platform for the most part. So I'm hoping things will pick up starting tomorrow, and got other things in the works. Plenty of the marketing plan is set in place. So I'm confident that we'll hit our minimum funding goal and then some, and be able to unlock some stretch goals.
I find kind of talking about your writing in the larger picture. Um, how is it writing, the more mature titles and then having then writing kids books, all ages?
Yeah, it's I go. My process is the same. It's just the content's different. The material's different. So I keep the audience in mind, and I just tell the story that I want to tell. I try to entertain myself first. If I'm not gonna, if I think it's boring, then someone else is definitely going to find it boring.
Right.
It's going to show through on the page. So I write the story that I want to see, and hopefully someone else will enjoy it as well, regardless of the genre.
And I know, because we've never talked about it before, tell us about Atticus and the Magical Pillow Fort.
Yeah, so that is an all ages story about this boy who's trapped inside his house on a rainy day. He's being babysat by his grandmother while his parents are out, and he's maxed out his screen time, so grandma won't let him get on his tablet or TV or computer, and she suggests he build a pillow fort. So he builds it, crawls inside, and gets transported to this fantasy land. So it's a little bit Alice in Wonderland meets The Lion, the Witch, and
Chronicles.
the
I was going to say Chronicles of Narnia.
Narnia, without the religious undertones.
overtones, undertones.
Depending on how you look at it.
Face slapping.
Yeah. Also with some Candyland in it too. So it's just a fun book. I've got nothing but compliments from people about it, that they're anxious for issue 2, and I'm anxious for it as well. So hopefully we can get issue 2 out in the world next year. I just got a lot of other things on the pipeline, and I'm just not in a position where I can really turn over Kickstarters really fast or launch multiple ones concurrently.
Got to get all the darkness out first before you can go back to the Pillow Fort.
Right. That's a good one too. Yeah.
So, how? I know we talked about this last time, but kind of explain your journey as a reader and why you wanted to start creating your own.
Yeah, well, I started reading comics at an early age through segued through the Ninja Turtles cartoon show. I was reading the adaptations of the cartoon show, not the actual, Mirage, the heavy black and white ones from Eastman and Laird, the adapted ones from the cartoon show, and that segued into X-Men and Batman, and I grew up in the 90s, the 90s era. Saw the Image Revolution, the death of Superman, the breaking of Batman's backs. I went through a lot of events that are still referenced to this day, that are still, they're trying to one up to this day. And I also, at the same time, I was always enjoyed writing. I did well in English classes, but never thought to do anything with it. And just one day, about 7-8 years ago, I decided to try my hand at writing in the comic book script format. After years of just writing, short prose, short stories, nonsense poems and stuff like that. And one thing led to another, and I actually had a comic book script, and then I learned how to go about self-publishing. And once I figured out that I could do that I understood the steps in the process, I just kept on repeating it, and it was just been a cog always in motion ever since.
Well, what do you think is the biggest thing that you've learned through that process, that I don't know if you wish you had known back then, because if you had known it, you wouldn't be learning it. And um, but or what advice would you give to people like yourself who want to jump into the creating their own comics?
I would say getting published isn't all that it's cracked up to be. Try to do everything yourself first, from writing to hiring out the artwork if you're not going to draw it, and then the coloring and the lettering, and then print it out yourself and go, sell it guerrilla style.
Mhm.
Throw some boxes in your back of your car, drive around to comic book shops, see how many you can sell, do cons, do in-store signings, work your way up to learning crowdfunding, and do it real grassroots style first. Don't so many people that talk to me at shows or in-store signings just they think they have the next Invincible or the next Marvel Cinematic Universe or next Walking Dead, and they just want to leapfrog from that all the way to Image. And I'm like, good luck to you. When that happens, I'll be the first person in line to buy that comic book. But I've never regretted crowdfunding any of my books, but I have regretted sending some of my books directly to publishers. So keep that in mind.
So, who are some of the writers, or be they literature, comics, that inspire you, or what inspires you? Be it anything outside of the arts, or
Yeah. Well, I'm a big Stephen King fan. I love a lot of his works, not just his books or the movies that were adapted based off his work. Just a fan of him in general too. Very outspoken person with a good head on his shoulders after the life that he's lived, and he, a lot of his stuff, particularly The Dark Tower, has been adapted to comic books as well that I've really enjoyed. So that's an influence on me. I unintentionally, maybe intentionally, have sprinkled my influence from Stephen King into some of my work. Intentionally would be with Can I Scream? I pitch that one all the time as a love letter to Firestarter.
all things obey the beam.
Yeah, yes, big Dark Tower fan, and when I was hired to write Dream Master for Black Box Comics, I was heavily influenced by the Dark Tower and the Gunslinger to flesh that story out more, because it called for a horror story with a superhero-ish lead. So I was like, all right, what type of horror stories have a continuous hero in it? And I thought of Roland Deschain, the gunslinger from Dark Tower, and his journey across the wasteland, and
Big world, and
there's they fleshed 7+ books out of that. So if King could do it for that many pages, I could do it for so many issues.
well, is there anything else that you wanted to make sure that people know about Brackish?
Yeah, just get online and check out our campaign page. See whatever tier you can support the most. You can read issue 1 for free right now on Global Comics if you want. We're not hiding that fact. We have a link to it on the campaign page. So if you want to check out issue 1, and then if you like it, just pledge for issue 2. That'd be great.
So, how about one last pitch for the book and where people can find you if you are on the social medias?
Yes. So Brackish number 1 and 2. It's live on Kickstarter. It's a dark tale of 2 families set on opposite sides of the Florida swamp, whose truce has been broken, and the swamp is going to run red once again with blood. And you can back that now on Kickstarter, and follow me on my link tree, or visit my website, which is a great hub to find everything. It's jonathanhedrickcomics.com.
Okay, sounds great. Well, as you know, we will continue to follow the campaign over on Comic Watch and our weekly roundup. And I want to thank you. I can always count on you to give us a repost of the link, and that's great because it helps. Hopefully, get it out there more and get your stuff out there.
Or you're the unsung hero, Chad. I appreciate it. You just tag me in it, and that makes it all the easier.
Well, I guess until next time, when you have something you'd like to talk about, then I guess I will let you enjoy the rest of your evening down there in Florida. Don't get too crazy, and safe travels back to Italy, right?
Yep. Eventually.
All right.
Yep. Thank you so much.
Eventually. Are you going to hit any shows while you're in town?
I hope so. I already did one. I put out the feelers for some more. Definitely some in-store signings in the county I'm in, and in Orlando as well. So,
well, you got to hit the local stores since it's a local book.
Yep, 100%.
All right. Well, the campaign is Brackish issues 1 and 2, currently funding on Kickstarter, and I will include as always. I include the link in our post. This one will go up Sunday because that's when the interviews get posted. Perfect. So again, thank you very much, Jonathan, for giving up time this evening, and we'll be in touch. And don't be a stranger.
Thanks. I appreciate it, Chad. Have a good night.